first one is I tend to take a lot of time for questions in the initial part of a section, and as a result, end up rushing through the questions at the end with lots of careless errors. What can I do to improve that? Now, this is a very common issue, and this is something that stems, or at least happened with me when I was a student back in school. At the beginning of the exam, my handwriting was wonderful. I did the most beautiful cursive writing, whatever to whatever extent I could. And at the last answers that I wrote, especially in theory papers, history or business studies or whatever subjects we were doing, the last answers that I wrote, it was barely legible. So my teachers also were not very happy with the answers that I was writing at the end. So one way to overcome that, one suggestion that I can potentially give you is, instead of treating it as a 40-minute section, treat it like 4 10-minute sections or 2 15-minute sections and 1 10-minute section. What has helped a lot of people in Quant especially, what students do is, within the first 10 minutes, their target is, I should have seen the end of the sixth question or seventh question. By the end of the next 10 minutes, I should have seen the end of the 14th question. By the end of the next 10 minutes, I should have seen the end of the 21st question. By the end of the last 10 minutes, I should have seen all the 24 questions, if at all. Basically, if the section, the entire timeline is too large for us, that we don't rush, we don't have the same sort of urgency at the beginning of the section, what you can do is create urgency for yourself by artificially putting in time limits, and you working with the idea, okay, by this time I have to finish it, by this time I have to finish it. This does not work very well when it comes to the DILR section, because some sets will take longer time, some sets will take lesser amount of time. But in Quant, this has helped a lot of people, and maybe this is something that you can try. In addition to that, what I would recommend is, let's say, when people are solving questions, again, this is more to do with Quant, people tend to revert to default behavior. People tend to revert to default behavior under stress, wherein you know some awesome insight, you know some awesome way of solving a question, but when you're solving it in the exam, because you are not very confident in your ability, you go back and do it the longish way. And that is fine if you do it for some questions, but if you're doing it for every question, that is an indication that your basics or the practice isn't adequate. So ideally, you should be doing it. You should be doing the advanced ways or better ways of solving even when the initial round of practice takes place. In fact, a recommendation that I make to all my kids is, when you're solving questions in practice, when you're solving questions in test, anytime you see a question, the first step is not, okay, let me record every piece of information, let me try to solve this. The first judgment call you have to make is, okay, in how much time should I be able to do it?